Hello, YouTubers. Joe Kersey here on Saturday, the 20th of June, 2015 at 10:35 in the morning, Eastern Daylight Time. Now, as it turns out, the more I got thinking about it, the more I got thinking about things I wanted to cover today. But first, the most important part of today's message is, if you take nothing else away from this today, is to announce the start of my grandson's YouTube channel. Let's see. How do I do this? There we go. The channel name is EruptorCK. And his very first YouTube video is Blood Knight, an introduction. And it's a card game he has devised. And it sounds like there's going to be a sequel to this because he was explaining the rules and then he wanted to cut it short at about a minute and a half. So be sure and go subscribe to EruptorCK. Or as the people say, watch, like, and subscribe. Watch, like, and subscribe. That'll be a lot of fun to see what happens with that. Well, it's been, we actually had almost 18 hours without rain here on Thursday, and now it's set in with a will again, and it's been raining steadily pretty much from about 2 o'clock this morning on, and we easily have another 6 or 7 hours of this stuff. And indeed, the water is coming into the basement. Yay! I checked my phone just now, and there was a message on it. And I thought I heard that thing make a noise last night. Well, no, actually, I thought I heard it make a noise about 2 nights ago. But now that doesn't make sense because I check that thing about twice a day, 2 or 3 times a day. Anyway, there was a message waiting for me, and it was from this woman at church who I like her greatly. She's a good soul. But she likes to call me sometimes in the late afternoon and early evening. And she calls me on my cell, which it's a large improvement over my earlier cell phone. But sometimes, I'm just not getting the best signal. Either that or she talks very softly or something. I don't know. Anyway, I have a hard time hearing her. And she was going on about something the other night, but obviously when they think it was important, I would have written it down. When she tells me anything important, I write it down. So today's message was this. 27th, sorry. What? 27th, sorry. What the fuck's that mean? I'll see her on Sunday. Maybe she'll elaborate. Maybe I can hint at it and get it out of her. Who knows? Well, Paul worked last night on this kind of little special detail for this tour bus coming in. And he left about 8, and I sort of heard him leave at 8. Because he walked past me where I was kind of asleep. And he got home, which means I did not hear him when he came home, which means somebody came in that front door, and I was basically right, 2 feet away from him and didn't hear him come in. That's a bit worrisome, actually. I guess I should be grateful for the good night's sleep, and I did get a good night's sleep. Okay. Today's, the 20th of June is a somewhat significant day in my life, or it's turned out to be. It was certainly a significant day in my parents' lives because they got married on the 20th of June in 1934. And so it would have been their 81st wedding anniversary today had either of them been still been alive, which would have made them each 105. Well, yeah, that does happen from time to time. Also, on the 20th of June, 1998, Paul and I attended a wedding. It turns out it was the second wedding of the sister of my good friend. My good friend from North Carolina, who is now dead. He was a physician. He fell down his stairs and brained himself. That was that. He was 50. He was 59. Anyway, sadly missed by all and sundry, and but his sister was getting her second marriage down north of. It was down between Circleville and Chillicothe, Ohio. And we went down there, and I remember it particularly because Shackleton had died not Shackleton, but Prometheus had died in April of 1998. First, son of Capricorn, the second of the first set of two dogs. And so we were down there, and at the very same time that wedding was happening, a plastic surgeon, Ann Miller, a plastic surgeon, who I worked with, did a fair amount of her cases when she worked at Grant Hospital in Columbus, was being ejected through a car windshield, through the windshield of a Porsche on the way over toward Kenton, Ohio, to do some shotgunning. Her husband was in Hawaii giving a presentation at a medical conference, and she was going with a friend of theirs. They had partied together a lot and shot together a lot and so forth. And he was driving, and he tried to pass somebody on one of these little wavy, dippy roads where you can't really quite see you think you're seeing all the way down, but you're not seeing all the way down because cars will hide down in the little dips. So he pulls around. There's a car coming head on. He swerves back in. He goes off the edge of the road to the right side of the road, flies through the air, lands in a soybean field. A fair ways in, by the way. And then goes right through the windshield because she was not wearing her seatbelt. Basically blew out her lungs, lived for about 2 hours more, but she had a fatal injury. When you have no air sacs that function anymore, you die. And she did. So that was in 1998, and today's the anniversary of her death. So I always think about that on June 20th. So, as my mother said, let's talk about happy things. So, to review, class, EruptorCK YouTube channel, Blood Knight, new card game, and as they say, watch, like, and subscribe. Alrighty. Bye-bye, YouTubers.